gentlemen. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Empire In Exile Podcast. I'm your host, Dorf, joined each and every week by Josh. How's it going tonight, Josh?
Awesome, man. Great number 8. Excited for it.
Yes.
Let's do this.
We are recording a little bit early. So this episode, we're recording on July 2nd. Actually goes up. Let's see, what date's that going to be? It's going to be a while. Not this. Wow, the 14th is when this is going to go up. So it's a little bit.
I was told there'd be, math. So.
But reading a calendar, that's just too much. That's too much to be expected of you. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're supposed to know this stuff in advance of the talent. I just don't expect me to do addition and subtraction.
I just expect to be able to show up and not have to think about it.
Right. Exactly. We know how this process works, Dorf. You do all the real work, and I show up and say goofy stuff.
and we collect exactly $0.00 from it so far. So anyway,
right? Yes. Thus far.
You know what? We're just trying to build a catalog here and get some episodes built up. So if we do have that viral moment, there'll be some more to listen to. There'll be a back catalog. So anyway, tonight.
Yeah, then everyone will say stuff like, wow, these guys were always cool. And then people will say did you watch episode number 8? Because that's when I started watching them, and you guys don't even know that's I was a fan way before it was cool.
We'll have our own hipsters.
Exactly.
Anyway, so tonight's topic is: does Joe Biden actually make it to the convention and through the convention as the Democrat nominee? And I think we'll also cover the heaven forbid he wins the election. How long does he actually hold the job before he rides off into the sunset? Or do we get to see a man who needs to be in a memory care home have nuclear launch codes? Anyway.
Yeah.
First off, so why we say let's briefly explain the rules of the game here. The Democrats are actually under no obligation under their own rules to necessarily put Joe Biden as their nominee, even though he's won enough delegates under their system to secure it.
Right. Just as courts have ruled, and just as we have discussed on previous shows, not only is it their primary to rig, it's their convention to rig, if they so desire.
They could change. Their current rules do state that they can. He's got the delegates to win. He therefore will be the nominee. There won't be a floor fight. Mm-hmm. They could change those rules and have them ratified by their board of governors or whatever the equivalent is, and all of a sudden you have Comrade Bernie or Gavin Newsom or Andrew Cuomo as the nominee, even though not a single person voted for him. And that's totally,
right. Yeah.
Primary elections are voting for who you want to be class president, not real president. So the propaganda surrounding I voted today, my vote counts. No, you voted for who's going to be the king of the cool club in primaries.
Absolutely. No, I mean, and I'm not saying this to sound condescending, to talk down to people, anything like that. I know that some people legitimately don't know this, and those that do maybe don't have a full understanding of it. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is absolutely, positively nothing in the Constitution about primaries. Nothing at all. This is not constitutional. It's not even law.
Well, it's not necessarily unconstitutional either. It's not
unconstitutional at all. But not by any means. I don't mean to say that. But it's not guaranteed by the Constitution. It's not protected by the Constitution.
Correct.
It is simply, it's simply party rule. It's just I think you put it well, Dorf, to say that it's a lot like voting for class president. They're counting the votes because they say they count the votes, but in essence, it doesn't really matter. The convention decides who is president. And
well, it decides who's the nominee,
recent,
not who's president.
or who's the nominee. I'm sorry, who's the presidential nominee. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry, but the convention decides this, and although they have taken the recommendation, both parties have taken the recommendation overwhelmingly in recent decades, it doesn't really matter. It actually is just a suggestion. It's just a suggestion to the party as to who they are going to run. And if they choose to not follow said suggestion because, as it turns out, dude is sick. As it turns out, guy's a jerk. As it turns out, we'd rather run a person of color. As it turns out, we'd rather run a woman. Whatever their reason may be, and you know they're going to conjure up the best reason they can, it's their reason, and it's their primary, and it's their convention. It's their party. They can cry if they want to. It's their convention. They can rig it if they want to.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, the reason you had nominee Hillary Clinton last time and not her nominee Bernie Sanders is because also, I mean, this is even without even discussing the super delegates. And quite frankly, I am not against super delegates because they're like the same way that the United States Senate was originally designed to represent the interests of the states, and the House was the House of the people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going back to our initial episode, if I was king for a day, that was one of my changes. I would reestablish that. But the super delegate is to vote or votes that act in the interest of the party, whether it's party elders, party loyalists, big important people in the party, to make sure the party's interests are represented. Or you could just go back to the ye olden days where there was a convention, and all of a sudden those two, 3, 4, 5 people were on the ballot, and your election cycle was 4 months.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Well, and the issue with this is the idea of the primary is supposed to show that, well, we don't want the nominee chosen by a couple of guys smoking cigars in a smoky room,
and
sipping bourbon, deciding
bourbon.
Deciding who the nominee is going to be. Well, in essence, all it is that meeting where they're swirling bourbon and smoking cigars and deciding the nominee, it just happens a year earlier now. I mean, that's really what they're doing, is that happens before, and they decide that by hook or by crook, Joe Biden is going to be the nominee this year. Doesn't matter if our party actually wants Bernie Sanders. It doesn't matter if the ideologues want Bernie Sanders and the party loyalists want Pete Buttigieg, and it doesn't matter. We're going to make sure that one way or another, Joe Biden's the nominee. And that's what they did here. So the question, I guess the several questions that are raised from that is, do they regret it?
Well, the crazy part is, I mean, there's still primaries going on.
Was it a plan from the beginning?
There's still primaries going on right now. Joe Biden,
supposedly,
in the last one, only got 60% of the vote.
But nobody's voting. So that's going to be the list of potential excuses is abundant at this point. They can say the primary wasn't legitimate because COVID-19. Because for the next 3 years, we're going to blame everything bad on COVID-19. Everything, it was COVID-19. It was COVID-19. We couldn't vote right because it was the coronavirus. We couldn't run the economy right because we had the coronavirus. We couldn't run anything properly. We couldn't do foreign policy properly because we had the coronavirus. That's going to be the excuse for everything. And for those of you listening, you know that in your own personal life. Whatever your job is, whatever your day job is at home, you know that your suppliers are telling.
I saw a couple positions eliminated within the company I work for, and Corona was used as an excuse. And
yeah, sorry you lost your job, but coronavirus. Sorry we can't get your product.
Absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but sorry that we don't have your product for you, but coronavirus, and sorry that your delivery was took twice as long, but coronavirus. This is a great excuse for anything, no matter what.
Oh, well, here's the thing. So my day job is in supply chain management, and that I flat out told people, and have for several months now, that was an excuse in late March and April. You're intelligent. You obviously are, you need to figure this out, because this is going to be your new operating paradigm for, the foreseeable future. Fucking figure it out and make accurate assessments.
Right. You've been deemed essential. Now act like it.
Yeah.
I'm with you, but it doesn't stop the excuses from rolling in.
Well, I don't take them anymore, and people have been, the people I deal with and my relationships know that and are aware of that, and it hasn't happened lately where, oh, Rona, sorry we missed a deadline we promised you, but Marona.
Pretty much. No, I'm getting it in my line of work as well, Dorf. Listen, can I express to you, before we break into the minutia of why we feel this way, or why this question is worth raising, I'd like to express a concern that I have with it, because I've been talking about this for a while. And the biggest concern I have when I say, do you really think Joe Biden is going to be the nominee? Do you really think they're going to let Joe Biden be president? Do you really think, that even if he is president, that he's going to be calling the shots? These are all variations of the same idea, the same question. But one of the strangest things that I've noticed with this is that Democrats, or people that plan to vote for Joe Biden, do not have a problem with this. They don't, and I'm not saying they don't have a problem with.
You've already got the liberal intelligentsia and mainstream media writing think pieces as far back as like January. Joe, we just need you to survive till Inauguration Day. We'll take it from there.
Right.
We'll take it from there. So you're gonna have an activist cabinet, which he's gonna pick an activist cabinet who's gonna run roughshod, and it's just gonna be chaotic government if he win. I mean, you think the last 3.5 years of Orange Man have been chaotic? Just wait till you've got a bunch of activists running the cabinet, the different cabinet departments and sub-cabinet departments, who all are trying to act out their own agenda. Where, creepy Uncle Joe is taking a nap, and they're all kind of doing their own thing. You think the Trump White House is disorganized? Just wait till that shit happens, and it has a progressive lens. See how fast policy changes if and when that happens.
And Dorf, the thing is with that is that is always how it is. It's all this infighting and politicking within the cabinet positions. But the only thing that keeps that in check is
having a strong boss at
an
the top.
Executive. Executive is a guy that gets to call the shot at the end. But if the shot isn't being called, that could be a real issue, a real big issue, actually. But when I've brought this up to Democrats, to people that plan to vote for Biden, and say, well, what if they don't choose Biden? What if they go with, are you sure they're not just going to say at the end of the day, Biden's too old, we're going to go with Andrew Cuomo? When I say this, they say, oh, that'd be great. I love Andrew Cuomo. They say, oh, that'd be great. Well, what if they just decide, no, we're just going to go with Michelle Obama? Oh, my God, that'd be fantastic. We love Michelle Obama. But that doesn't bother you that we had this primary process?
There's been false advertising, a bait and switch.
I mean, that they've pushed this at a primary process that you participated in, that you don't feel that they're going to throw away because Orange Man bad? I mean, because I get that idea that, I don't get it, but I get what they're trying to say when they say that Trump just sucks so bad. He's terrible. He's the worst ever. Orange Man bad. Trump terrible, evil, devil, satanic, fascist, okay, Trump bad, go away, bad, need Trump gone. But, so if you just had to beat Donald Trump, no matter what, by hell or high water, Joe Biden's the best you got? Really? That's it? That's what you're throwing? I mean, yeah.
If Orange Man is so bad, you should have brought us something better than Joe fucking Biden.
I mean, not only do you have, 50 plus senators or ex-senators, not only do you have 250 plus House reps or ex-House reps, not only do you get 25 plus governors, and I'm just doing halves here, guys. I don't have it memorized how many Republicans
you're not
have.
terribly off.
Yeah, no, it never is to say that because the country's polarized. But not only do you have all those to grab from, let's be real, guys. You have 300 million Americans to grab from, and that's what you took.
You gave us Grandpa Joe. Who, honestly, I feel bad for the guy. You know what? He might win this out of pity.
Guy's been running for president since I was in the 7th grade.
Before I was
I'm
born.
not young. I'm not young.
That was about when I was born. I think the first time. What was the first time you ran? It was in the 90s, right?
I thought it was 92.
Okay, then I would have been one.
That's my 7th grade reference.
I was one.
Although if he ran in, I don't have it in front of me. I'm not positive he didn't run in 88. In that case, I'm in 3rd grade. But whatever it is, this guy, he lost to Obama. He lost to Hillary Clinton. He is the perennial. And he actually accomplished a lot. I'm not even trying to. I actually didn't hate Joe Biden for most of my life, and I don't even hate him now. But he's this guy he's the perennial loser of Democratic primaries.
He's the Chicago Cubs until recently.
Right. And
he's the America's lovable loser.
Right, but if he ever was going to have a chance at this, it was going to be running last time. He's just an old geezer now, everybody. There's nothing wrong with being an old geezer. I hope to someday be an old geezer myself.
I can't imagine. Here's another thing. I can't imagine what the Trump campaign is holding back until the nomination is secured. Just waiting till they have no choice but to take him to the finish line.
Yeah, because all the lunatic fringe stuff we've seen about Joe Biden right now, that's just what the Democrats have to say about it.
Yeah. The criticisms
you haven't even heard
the crime bill, the 94 crime bill.
We haven't even heard what the Republicans have to say about this guy yet.
Because if they beat him down too hard now, the Democrat Party has a chance to bail themselves out and replace him.
Sure. And I want everyone to know, if this is the first time you've ever heard Dorf or I on here, you have no idea how we fall on things. I have no horse in this race. I would not.
Josh votes third party.
Cast. Yes, I'll be real. I would not cast a vote for Joe Biden or Donald Trump if they filled the voting booth with Heineken and there were strippers drowning in it. There is no way I would cast a vote for one of these two. But with that being said,
and you guys don't know Josh. Josh loves Heineken.
But with this being said, is Joe Biden doesn't beat Donald Trump, does he? And I don't know. I mean, I know some polls are leaning that way.
If you look at the most recent poll analysis, he is. But then there's another thing that they're chronically undersampling the white, uneducated folk, which are an incredibly solid Donald Trump group, that this is not as big of a gap as it seems. That there's a good chance that the high school education or less white population, which is a large amount of people, is being undersampled significantly, enough that the seeming 8 to 12 point lead is probably closer to 2-4. And guess
Right.
what? 2-4 with this much to go, with how much the RNC is holding back right now, that's anybody's ball game. You don't have a VP. They haven't seen him on the big debate stages together. Oh boy!
No.
Oh, that's the other thing. Like, God, you got to get out of those. If you're the DNC, you got to get Joe Biden. You agreed to 3 debates. Oh, God.
Well, right. It's going to be coronavirus, man. That if Joe Biden does indeed become the nominee, that's going to be the excuse. No debates, coronavirus.
They just agreed to him last week.
I know. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. We will see. And I know right now the polls are saying Biden wins this thing, but I'm just looking at this as, from the pollsters that brought you Hillary wins in a landslide and Clay Aiken can't possibly lose a Ruben Studdard. We have Joe Biden is leading Donald Trump in the polls. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Yep.
So should we discuss at all do you have anything to say about that, Dorf, first? What I was saying, the idea that people who plan to vote for Biden are agreeing that there's a chance it might not even be Biden.
Oh,
if it's one of these other people,
they've
we're
come
okay with that.
Come to peace with the fact that he's either going to be swapped out at the convention, or he's going to get to Inauguration Day and be like, all right, I resign, President. The person you thought was going to be vice president for the next 4 years is now running the show. Have fun.
Right. And, constitutionally speaking, if they really are putting somebody they want in there in the VP spot, then they want Biden to last 2 years. So then this person could be president for 10 years potentially. Mm-hmm. That's really what you want.
He ain't gonna make it. He's not gonna make it.
I know I'm gonna sound like the big tinfoil hat here, Dorf, but I don't buy half the stuff they throw at us anyway. So if they want him to live for 2 years, when they control the media and control the narrative, he'll live for 2 years.
Oh yeah, I mean
whether he does or not, they'll deep fake the hell out of it.
The corpse of RBG upright somehow.
Exactly. They'll find a way. If they want him to die in 6 months, he'll die in 6 months. That's how it is. But to me, I think depends on who
he dies in 6 months. You realize that's like 2 weeks short of inauguration, 3 weeks short of inauguration. And when we're recording this, when it goes up, it'll be pretty much 6 months of the day till inauguration day, if Biden wins.
I meant 6 months after.
Oh, 6 months post. Okay.
Yeah, 6 months. 6 months after the election. 6 months after he takes the oath of office, if you will. But do we want to mention? I really want to get into if it's not going to be Biden, who's it going to be?
Sure.
But before that, do you want to talk about how Bernie just got screwed again? I mean, they screwed Bernie 4 years ago, and I guess we all got over it.
I can't even say they screwed him this time. I think he lost fair and square this time.
Do ya?
He did.
I mean, even with what they did in Iowa, New Hampshire, and I'm hitting him with Mayor
party
Pete.
Didn't do anything. Mayor Pete's campaign just planted the flag, declared election, dropped their dick on the table, and said, cover this, and ran off to New Hampshire.
But isn't it fairly obvious that all these candidates received a phone call from somebody saying, you drop out tomorrow?
I don't even know if they get the phone call. It's like, these people don't get to their places of power without being able to read the writing on the wall. Especially all those, everybody who dropped out outside of essentially Bernie has a political future. The only reason Bernie doesn't is because he's too damn old.
Yeah. He was too old last time, so was Biden.
They're still too old. I mean, Bernie doesn't have a future.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The rest of those folks, there is a political tomorrow for. I think that they all just saw the writing on the wall and bailed when they had no hope of, it only hurts them to stick around. I don't think there was the phone call from the RNC chair to, the DNC chair saying, all right, bud, it's time to go. Do it now or we end you. I think they saw the writing themselves.
I believe they were told to, but we'll never prove that here on this show. So, Dorf, as somebody that has, and this is not me puffing my chest out by any means, because I am I'm the tiniest of small potatoes. But as somebody that's studied political science, and that was my original education path, was political science, and has worked as a very minor operative in very small local elections. I just kind of look at this and I say, what kind of political operative takes an election? Because everything's opportunity, right? You have to view everything as, how are we going to beat this particular candidate? And you are very much handicapped when you have to go against an incumbent. Well, one of the few bonuses or benefits to going against an incumbent is that you know who you're going against, right? Mm-hmm. You get to actually know that, well, it's always tough beating an incumbent, but we know that we have to do X, Y, and Z if we're going to take this guy out. So what political operative, and they get the best in the world, right? I mean, the best ones, because this is presidential race. This is the high-paid, high-dollar people in this. Who says we're going against the oldest president in American history?
Let's run an older
guy. Let's run somebody older. Who the hell does that? That's ridiculous. That is the most ludicrous idea you would ever do. That's one of the few advantages you have going into this race against Donald Trump, is we can't, he's old. He's really old. Dude, old. This guy is so old. I just old jokes. Let's run old stuff. So not only do you have to just run somebody younger than the guy who is old, but how hard is it to run somebody who's not 74?
And it's not so you could compare a couple guys that are in their mid-70s. Despite what you think of Dr. Anthony Fauci, Fauci is actually older. You wouldn't think that hearing him talk in congressional hearings. He doesn't sound like Orange Man bad. He doesn't, the dude sounds like he's still all there. He's a doctor. He's run the allergy and infectious disease or whatever, the NASIAD or whatever it is, center forever since like the 90s. Guy still sounds like he's got it. He may be wrong, but he doesn't stammer. He doesn't struggle to finish sentences. Donald Trump occasionally does that, or he repeats himself a lot, which,
Yeah. All you got to do is look at this and say, listen,
run somebody
66 or younger.
Run somebody in their 50s, like 40s or 50s, who can complete a sentence, and you walk away with this.
Yeah, let's just set that as a rule from the onset. Okay, 66 or younger, somebody who has enough hair to die, we're good. We're gonna run some touch of gray in the guy's hair, and we're really gonna do it up. And somebody who's 66, because then he won't be 70 until he's running for re-election. We're good. Just don't mess with that. Who does that? It makes me raise another question, and that is, do they actually want to beat Trump? Or are they better off with Trump as president?
Quite honestly, at the very beginning, I thought that the party establishment pushed so hard for Joe Biden because they would at least lose with grace. I think that was the original
I did too.
idea.
I thought he was their Bob Dole. Right.
Before Rona, there was no way he was going to lose. Now
right.
Rona has put this game back in play, and
and now they're trying to decide: do we, how do we handle this situation now that we have a chance?
Mm-hmm.
You put in the old veteran who you thought was going to give the crowd a little excitement, but now that you have a chance to win, do you keep in the old veteran, or do you throw in that young pitcher who maybe just has what it takes to, take this team out? Is the way I'm looking at it. And that's if you're just buying the whole political narrative as it is, and I'm not even sure that I do. But, so what do you think, Dorf? Do you think they're going to steal it from them at the convention? Do you think they're going to set it up for the VP?
No, it's definitely going to be the party is going to handpick a VP. The danger in
That's what you think it's going to be?
VPs are usually, and traditionally, at least in the modern era, impeachment insurance. The reason that Barack Obama had Joe Biden, they do one thing. They're useful to pick up their home state if it's a purple state, and they're impeachment insurance. Because look at this crazy coot that is our alternative. That was, the Republicans, you don't dare impeach Barack Obama because then you get Joe Biden. Same thing with Mike Pence. You think Orange Man is bad. Just wait till there's a evangelical Christian calling the shots.
It didn't work, though. He got impeached anyway.
It was a pointless gesture. They knew they had no hope of removal.
Yeah, I don't know about that completely, Dorf. I definitely buy the home state trying to pick that up. The old adage is in the U.S. when you're choosing your running mate, if you're a northerner, you choose a Senate. You choose a southerner, vice versa. If you're from Congress, you choose a governor, or vice versa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's usually what you want to do. You're the Washington insider, pick the Washington outsider. You're the Washington outsider, pick the Washington insider. You're a northerner, pick a southerner. You're a
East Coast,
pick somebody. Or your
coastal, pick somebody from the heartland.
Yeah, or if there is one chance in hell that you can guarantee a Pennsylvania or a New Jersey with your pick, do it. But those are the typical kind of old school reasons for VP. So you don't think the convention's going to take it from them? You think they're going to handpick the VP and that the VP is going to be their person?
I don't think we're going to, because this there's like a week and a half before this airs. I don't think we want to get into prognostication because we're about to roll into prime time for a VP to be announced. And so we're going to stay away from prognosticating on it. You know what? Screw it. No, we're not. Screw it.
Yeah, I don't want to. I want to prognosticate the hell out of this.
All right. Joe Biden's...
So who's it going to be?
Kamala Harris.
You think so?
Kamala the cop.
Yeah, I got her on my list.
It's Kamala.
I got her on my list.
So that violates, however, every traditional rule. If you're from the coast, pick somebody from the heartland. You're picking a senator, VP, somebody else from the Senate. You're picking somebody from California. That doesn't help you pick up that state. So you're breaking every rule. But he's boxed himself into a corner. It's got to be a lady. Even though, quite honestly, probably his best strategy, had he not boxed himself into a corner already, would be Gavin Newsom out of California. Or, what's his nuts? I'm forgetting. Damn it.
Talk about Cuomo?
No, not Cuomo. No, anyway, but you pick like like Jay Inslee. Sorry, that's what I'm thinking of. Jay Inslee, governor of Washington. Stuff. Kay Brown, governor of Oregon, something like that.
This is coming from somebody that I loathe Kamala Harris. I actually, she's one of the few politicians out there that actually really scares the hell out of me. As a lover of liberty, especially, she is someone that scares the ever-living hell out of me. But, she is a great choice in this case. Again, Kamala Harris being president.
Unfortunately, this is a pretty low bar. Federal government experience, women, minority, can complete a sentence.
Sure. Well, and with her too. He said he's going to pick a woman. Amy Klobuchar dropped out because she's not a person of color.
Well, she's damaged too. She could have put Derek Chauvin in prison.
Right.
Oops.
Right. So Kamala Harris, with Kamala Harris in there, she is young. She can complete a sentence. With her, Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter. Because she's both, right? That's something you got to say. That she's a person of color, she's a woman, but at the same time, it's not like the thin blue line. Blue Lives Matter more than anything. People can hate her because she's that too. So she's definitely
you could argue she would be the Law and Order candidate.
She would be the Law and Order candidate, actually.
Kamala Harris would be the Law and Order candidate.
And as a lover of liberty and a lover of freedom, the idea that somebody is going to out-Trump Trump, somebody's going to trump Trump as the Law and Order candidate, just makes me want to jump off a bridge.
Here's the other thing.
I'm not even going to lie.
Here's another dark horse. It would be Mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms. The big risk in that is, especially if your play is,
nobody's heard of her.
True. You get no name recognition. You probably pick up Georgia, though. Georgia was very close to the last. There's a chance you pick up Georgia by just insane urban voter turnout. The only problem is if the plan is to step aside early in the term, you have somebody that went from not doing a terribly great job at running Atlanta to, the biggest chair on the planet overnight. And those who think about their elections, who they vote for in elections beyond, 5-10 minutes, that will probably scare the shit out of them. Because, like it or not, Mike Pence, he's ran a state. He's been the VP. He was in Congress before that. Donald Trump semi-successfully ran a real estate business. He's now been in the big chair. DC outsider with a loud mouth. It was popular. Joe Biden's been in federal government for 40 years. He at least has that experience if he still remembers it. Putting somebody like Keisha Lance Bottoms, or there's a couple, I forget what, Val Demings of Florida, Rep. Val Demings. Yikes. There's some risk there, but it's not like they haven't been in federal government before.
Right. Right now, BLM's hot. That's it's kind of like what's the hot take on this? I don't want to rule out Cory Booker. I know that he had said he wanted a woman before.
Two Northeasterners, though.
Yeah, but I feel like the bets are off here.
He has been awful quiet lately.
Yeah, I don't want to rule him out. I just want to say his name. When it comes to, there's three names I want to rattle off real quick. Names that everyone knows. Mayor Pete Buttigieg, Mike Bloomberg, Andrew Cuomo. Now, those names I don't think are VP candidates. Those are people that I think
would replace him at the convention.
Right, they would snatch up the spot. And the reason I say Andrew Cuomo is if it's Andrew Cuomo, obviously they just threw it all out. They throw away everything and they say, look how great Andrew Cuomo was with the coronavirus response. The ticket's going to be Andrew Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan, or Andrew Cuomo and Kamala Harris, or whatever it is. And he's got the name. He's the Cuomo. He's New York. He's so, but that's, I'm not counting him as a VP guy. I'm counting him as a steal it from him. Mike Bloomberg can take it because he has, if Biden doesn't win it on the first ballot, then Bernie's back in the mix.
Well, here's the thing: Joe Biden will win it on the first ballot, assuming they don't change the rules. He's got enough delegates secured that assuming the rules don't change, there's zero possibility of fuckery.
If they do, there's never zero possibility of fuckery. But with that's what I'm trying to say here, Dorf, is that they can ensure that he doesn't win it on the first ballot if they want, or he drops out, but they insist that they're still going to stay true to the primary cause. And in that case, Mike Bloomberg is right
Andrew
back
Yang?
in this thing. I don't think they want him or are ready for him. I could see him playing a part in some of this disaster, but I don't see a path for him.
He would definitely not get a substitution, but I think he'll have a role in the next Democrat administration. He's at least secured himself a role in the next Democrat administration.
I think he has.
DHS.
No, I could easily see him there. I could see him or someone with his ideas at the forefront come next election, especially if the Democrats are coming off a Democratic administration. Mm-hmm. I could absolutely see Andrew Yang or someone with his ideas, a follower of Yang, a member of the Yang gang, if you will. Jumping in there. Yes, an acolyte. All right, all you tinfoil hat guys out there, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Hillary. Yes? No?
She's also
Is it a possibility?
Quiet.
I mean, can we ever rule Hillary Clinton out? Until I see them put that woman in a casket and throw dirt over it, I will not rule her out. So, I mean, do you throw Hillary Clinton as the VP for Biden? The reason I don't think so...
The memes for that would be so great, though. It's like, you fuckers thought I was gone.
Exactly. I mean, what a great way to be president for 10 years. She
wouldn't make it 10 years.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how all this Illuminati stuff works. If she drinks enough baby blood, she might be able to make it for... I don't know, Dorf. I don't know how that works.
They've kept RBG alive.
Yeah, I mean, she can. They do their thing. They drink the adrenochrome, whatever they do. They do satanic rituals. I don't know what they do up there to make sure they all live to be 700. Hillary might be a vampire for all I know. In a lot of ways, she is. She definitely sucks the life out of my soul, but I don't know that she's really drinking blood. Maybe that's all made up. I'm not trying to be a Pizzagate guy here. Maybe a little bit.
But Epstein didn't kill himself?
Epstein didn't kill himself. And hey, I want to get ahead of the game because we already announced that when this is being recorded, Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested this morning. I want to get ahead of the game and say Ghislaine Maxwell did not kill herself. By the time this podcast airs, there's a very good chance she may have got really depressed in between.
She triple tapped herself in the skull, back of the head.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to get ahead of the game right now and say Ghislaine Maxwell. I like to just say her name different every time because I know none of the ways I say it are right. So I just like to throw it out, and then maybe a blind squirrel will find a nut every once in a while. So Ghislaine Maxwell did not kill herself. That didn't happen. But maybe Hillary Clinton. Maybe she could be.
Can we both?
On this
can we both at least
somehow?
both at least agree that Stacey Abrams will not be the VP?
Yeah, I think so, and I think Amy Klobuchar. Can we throw her in that bucket too?
Well, she's already said she doesn't want it, or is
Yeah,
bowing
but
out.
that's
It's awful bold of
Isn't
you
that-
because your name was never officially mentioned. It's awful bold of you to
Right.
turn down a job you've never been rumored to have been offered.
I don't know if you know this, but last week, or a while back, Dorf, not last week, a couple months back, I actually removed myself from the NBA draft. I just
Yeah,
I
that's
wasn't-
another interesting thing. There's a MLB free agent, Tyson Ross. He actually played in Detroit last year and was on a contract with the Giants before they cut him last week. Has announced that he, out of the fear of Corona, is not going to play this year.
Oh, is he retiring?
Very bold of you, Tyson. You're not under contract.
Yes. You quit a job you don't have. So I won't be joining the NBA draft next year either. I know that I could, my point guard skills are pretty wicked, but I just don't think
You got
there's
a nice step back jumper. What you're trying to tell me?
I do. I really do too, Dorf. That's
And
legit.
age
That
is just a number for you.
right. Yeah, but just 5'5", 40-year-old white guys just
I mean, you have a really
as-
long shelf life.
Yeah, aside from all that, I know that there'd be people out there willing to take a chance on me despite those handicaps, but I'm stepping down. I'm not going to be that. That's how I view Amy Klobuchar saying, "By the way, I don't want to be VP," and everyone's like, "Nobody asked." I did. Do you think it was Amy Klobuchar, that chick that did that at prom all those years ago?
Oh,
when
I
she
didn't
was in
want
high
to be
school?
prom queen.
By the way, I don't want to be prom queen, and everyone was just like,
Good, no one voted for you.
and you are.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But okay, I want to throw one more big one out there
Sure.
for you. Okay. And I'm being serious about this too. The best choice, if the idea is Joe Biden is going to be the nominee, they're gonna weekend at Bernie's. Forgive the Bernie pun because we're talking about Biden now, not Sanders. But they're gonna weekend at Bernie's Joe Biden through the convention, through the election, and through it all into trying to make him president and have somebody take over, have the VP take over and be the savior of the Democratic Party in the United States of America. The person to pick isn't Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, we talked about how that was a good one. But the person to pick is Michelle Obama.
I don't think she has any interest.
I see the same sources you're seeing that say she has no interest. I also don't believe anyone that says that they don't have
If
interest
they
in
were
being
thinking
president.
about doing that, you'd see test balloons being floated, and you haven't.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You may be right.
The reason you saw Stacey Abrams get so much run in, was it March or April, is because that was the test balloon.
No, I get it.
How is the public going to handle her? Oh, and she epically failed. So that's why Stacey Abrams is now politically dead again.
No, it's put some milk out on the stoop, see who licks it up. I get that, but maybe if they're smart, if they're truly smart, and I don't think they are, but if they're truly smart, then you keep that a secret. And
Well, any
you
day
announce
now,
at
any
the
day
convention.
now,
It's a winner. It's a winner for sure.
mid-July is the rough historic average of when VPs are announced. VP candidates, rather. So
That's new school. That's new school stuff, man. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's very new school stuff. The VP gets announced at the convention. I mean, up until very recently, you had no idea who the VP
until
was
they walked out on that stage.
until the last day of the convention.
Really?
The last day.
It's
I mean,
usually, what, 4 days? Something like that.
You're there at the convention. The old joke with the conventions was the Democratic convention was, like what the Republicans pretended they were all the time, extremely stuffy and official and serious. And the Republican convention was exactly like the Democratic convention with drinking and fun. So that was always the old joke, was that, I thought the Republicans were supposed to be the stuffy shirts. They're the ones that actually go to the convention and have fun and, party and, have after parties and stuff. But really, up until
there's a
very
reason
recently,
that the day's festivities don't start till 2:00 in the afternoon.
Right, exactly. So, with that being said, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong that it could be announced early, but I mean, as the old stories go, Ronald Reagan was still debating with his staff, claiming that he wanted Gerald Ford to be his VP about an hour before they announced George Bush.
W. Bush, yeah.
I mean, so this is not
an ex-president is your VP, really?
Yeah, very strange, isn't it? I mean, that would be a very strange idea, but the people that supported this at the time were of the opinion that
theory do that, because Gerald Ford was a one-termer, so he wouldn't have been term limited out if he had taken over.
And not even a full term.
Not even a full term either.
Their idea being that because he was never elected president, that he was still VP Timber.
Sure.
Was what they said. It was rejected. So, and what is strange about that is that he would have been able to serve, but technically that would have definitely been a gray area there constitutionally. Had, for instance, Reagan was shot.
I mean, Reagan was shot. Yeah.
Had Gerald Ford taken over, it would have been a constitutional gray area as to whether or not he was term limited after that, or could run again. He would have, in essence, taken over twice but that's a whole bunch of what ifs in there. I'm not trying to.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So let's start putting a bow on this.
Sure.
We were a betting man here on July 2nd, the day we're recording this. Joe Biden makes it out of the convention as a nominee, yes or no?
I know it's a stretch, and I could be wrong. I'm not betting the house on this, but
not because he croaks. Not because he croaks.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say no. I think they find a way to take it from him.
Okay.
At the convention, I think they come out of the convention and Joe Biden is not the nominee. If Joe Biden is the nominee, I'll be honest, I actually trust them less. And me trusting them less is not an easy thing to do, but I actually trust them less if they say he is the nominee, because I just think, all right, who's really running the show now? Who's the puppet master here, and who's going to take over, who's going to do? But I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say no. The convention will end with someone other than Joe Biden being the nominee.
I disagree with you. I'm going to say yes. So next bet for you then, who is it?
I am going to throw the name out there again. I'm going to say Michelle Obama. Now, I don't necessarily.
That would be too smart.
It would be smart. It is the right play, whether they do it or not, and I understand that they probably won't. But out of the dozen or so people it could be, I'm going to say Michelle Obama. And I'm going to try to throw a little hook in with this prediction and just say, maybe I'm wrong. There's a good chance I'm wrong, but if Michelle Obama is mentioned in some of this, if Michelle Obama is kicked around as VP, if Joe Biden dies 2.5 years from now as president of the United States and someone else takes Michelle Obama as their replacement VP, just remember that Josh said it here on the Empire in Exile. That's out there. That's a possibility. Gets Obama back in the White House, and I think that's what people want. I think that's what the Democrats want. Is to them, Michelle being in there is.
It really means they get another term of Barack.
Right. It's 2 to 10 years more of Barack Obama. If you play it right.
Interesting.
And I think there's a whole bunch of people out there who are willing to vote for Joe Biden only because they actually believe that he is Obama's puppet. I've brought this up before to people say, well, do you think it's Obama calling the shots? And they say, oh, I hope it's Obama calling the shots. I hope Biden's just a senile old man and that Barack Obama's really in there pulling his strings. Okay. That'd be great.
All right. Next question.
I think that's crazy.
So, Josh, I'm going to ask you, this is twofold for you. Assuming Biden is the nominee, who is the VP nominee?
Well, I'm going to stick with my Michelle Obama thing.
Okay, so Michelle Obama will be on
as the
stage.
thing to go. But let's go with Kamala Harris, though.
Okay. If your prediction comes true, and Michelle Obama is your presidential nominee from the Democratic Party, who's her VP?
Yeah. Oh, if Michelle Obama is... Oh, no, I don't think Michelle Obama will necessarily be the... If they steal it from him at the thing, I think it's going to be Cuomo.
Oh, okay. All right. That was what I was asking you initially. So Cuomo,
if they steal it from him there, it's going to be Cuomo.
Ticket. It'd be a Cuomo-Michelle ticket. Okay.
Right. That is my base prediction is that if Biden ends up as the nominee, I think it will be Michelle Obama or her name will be kicked around. Don't rule out a Michelle Obama Julius Caesar moment where she refuses the crown.
Well, you'll never see that happen because that'll happen off camera beforehand. They wouldn't embarrass. They wouldn't embarrass them.
I don't know, man. That trick's been working for thousands of years now. Don't rule it out.
Fair enough.
But
I'm gonna go. Biden's gonna make it to inauguration day if he's elected. His VP nominee will be Kamala Harris, which will lead to the most boring vice presidential debate as they just spit talking points at each other in complete sentences. Nothing of substance will be discussed, and the presidential debates, whether they happen in person or digitally, will be a slaughter. Donald Trump will mop the floor with Joe Biden, which will put him back in the lead and win.
They're going to have to do them digitally because if they do them in person...
supposed to be here in town, dude.
Yeah. I thought they canceled it already.
Nope.
Oh, in your town?
Yes.
They canceled it in Michigan.
Ann Arbor, yeah.
Yeah. Dorf, they have to do it digitally because I really think Joe Biden will try to attack him physically.
Really? Yeah.
I really do.
Or he'll challenge him to a push-up contest.
I think he's going to go full Alzheimer's. I do. I think he's going to go full Alzheimer's, and I think he's going to try to attack him physically. And it's going to be the worst fight ever. Sorry, I was looking over my set. My son's over here next to me playing Ninja Gaiden, and he's cracking up.
Anyway, all right, let's wrap it up there.
So, okay, Dorf, I know you predicted that, real quick before we wrap up, I know you predicted that Joe Biden will get the nominee, and I respect that is your full prediction. But if my conspiracy theory is right and they take it from, who do you think it'll be? Who do you think they'd give it to on the big stage?
Gavin Newsom.
Or okay, that works. Gavin Newsom, or Biden dies tomorrow. Gavin Newsom. It's good. It's a good pick. We actually didn't discuss him enough tonight, but good call.
Yep, Gavin Newsom. All right, let's put a bow on it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dorf.
Episode 8 here of the Empire In Exile Podcast, presented by us. We're it. We're the network. join us each and every Tuesday for a new episode. Like I said, we're recording this a little bit early because our schedule is July are hectic. But we appreciate however you found us, and join us next week. Have a good night.